What is up, Jabronis? JJ back here with Snyder, Mangone, talking a little PGA. Apologize for being a little late here. We're almost 15 minutes late. Actually, no, fuck that. I'm not sorry. I mean, Snyder's not sorry, and neither is Mangone. So we're collectively kind of not sorry. But let's talk real quick on last week. Snyder, Mangone, how'd you guys do? Good, bad, and different. We rolling any momentum into this week? Well, Snyder, I'll start with you.
It wasn't the best week. I mean, it wasn't as good as the weeks prior. I had a really good start, like Thursday, Friday, like all my guys were crushing. I was winning a couple of GPPs even, and then the third day came, and we just got my guys just shit the bed, and I think every guy on my team almost shot like 5 over that day, so it was really hurtful. Had a few MDFs, which those are brutal to see and rare to see these days, but yeah, it happened. Ready to jump into this event though this week. Pretty excited for this event, and it's one of the best events of the year, I think, outside of like Augusta and a couple other majors. But this is the top predominant event on the regular season schedule.
Love it. Mangone, are you as hyped for Snyder about this week? I mean, we got the Super Bowl, and I know you're a busy guy too. But Phoenix Open and maybe some thoughts about last week?
Yeah, I actually like this event. One of my best MME hits was at this event. This was in 2018. You know, I was MMEing Snyder, and I hit the lock button on Brandon Steele, who got third place. I had a lot of Gary Woodland too, who got first. And I even had 50% Jordan Spieth, who missed the cut, which was very tilting. So what could have been if he actually made the cut and did something right? But I do definitely like this event. It's a fun one. I always enjoy watching this. It's a bit of a higher scoring event too. And you got a really great field. Like, you don't typically get this kind of field for this event. It's definitely grown over the past couple of years for sure. I'm expecting some really good coverage too. I hope we do. I think people understand that this is an event that people like. So hope we get good coverage. And yeah, I'm excited to talk about these golfers. We had a couple WDs today. Harris English, Webb Simpson. They have left the chat, so make sure they are not in your lineups. And it's going to be fun because I like my strategy so far this week. I'm curious to hear what Snyder says. I'm going to listen to the show that's on in the Rum Pure Sports channel. So if you haven't checked that out after us. And hopefully you just watched that and you came over here to hang out with us afterwards. And we're going to talk about this event. I'm curious to get some of Snyder's takes, and I want to hear your Genesis takes too, Dunkel.
Yeah, I appreciate that, and thank God for the dude on Twitter that caught it, JD, because yeah, I mean, what a joke I am. I mean, imagine me trying to forecast a week in advance. So Snyder, this for the Phoenix, I want to just run through the course real quick, and just real quick, I would assume that since Gary Woodland won going some money years back, there's not a lot of water here. or is it just one of those times where Woodland ran pure in relation to the water?
Yeah, there's a little bit of water here, but not overwhelmingly too much. But this course, we're back here at TPC Scottsdale. 132 golfers are going to be taking the field this week, with the top 65 in ties making it throughout the weekend. We're going to see upwards of 50% of the field making the cut here, as it's kind of lower than normal field size total wise. But the par 71 here, it's going to play 7,261 yards. It's going to have some larger than average greens, right around 7,000 square foot. The Bermuda greens are overseeded with POA, and they're going to run really fast on the step meter, right around 12. One of the best finishes in golf is here. We got the 16th hole, the stadium hole, where everybody's just a ruckus party there. And then the risk-reward drivable 17th hole, where there is some water on the left side. This hole brings in eagle, and then it also brings double bogey into play. So it just depends on how aggressive you want to be off the tee there. And you're also going to see some guys hitting the green here and having like 70 to 80-foot putts here, as this is a big green, and you're going to see some 3 putts here just to totally tilt us. But the front nine is going to play much tougher than the back nine. Most notably on hole 4 through hole 9, those are going to play the toughest on the course. The 3 par 5s here are all reachable in 2 for the most part, and all these par 5s have eagle rates of 2% or greater and birdie rates near 40%. So there's going to be a ton of scoring on these holes, and you've got to be a good par 5 scorer. Long and straights preferred off the tee here. If you get off of the fairways here, you're going to find some desert type surfaces here. Plenty of cacti that cause some problems if you do find that. 10 of the 11 par fours are going to play 400 to 500 range. The majority of the iron shots are going to be in that 150 to 200 proximity ranges. Some of the key stats I'll be looking at other than those are strokes gained approach, total driving, par 5 scoring, and opportunities gained.
That's one of the best rundowns Snyder's ever done on these shows. I mean, just quality information after. I mean, he even brought up cactus.
You brought up cactus. I don't think I heard a desert golf reference, but I wanted to throw that in there because we're playing some desert golf this week, which I've heard on the podcast.
It was even like the plural. It was like cacti. I think he dropped in there.
Yeah.
All you needed was him just like to be whispering that, like it's on the CBS telecast with just like a light wind in the background, just a light breeze.
All right, so thanks for that, Snyder. And then Mangone, I guess I'll slide to you in terms of DFS. Just two guys you like, whether it's high price, low price, two guys you like on the DFS end. I don't want to say if you're locking per se, but for value at the top and value at the bottom, who you like for DFS this week?
Yeah, man, this is definitely a fun week. It's before we get into that, I do want to ask Snyder a question. I always love doing this. Snyder, so two things: the weather with the wind. I'm hearing that chatter. I know they're apparently the Discord chat said they're talking about it on the show. Is the wind going to be this bad? It sounds like it's being talked about a little bit with some tee times where there could be a little bit of an edge. So I'm curious your take on that because that could be big for the showdown as well tomorrow. And the other question I had was, course history. I noticed a lot of people saying like one of the trends is like guys that just like finish in the top 5 and like are close to getting a win. And then like they come back the next time and they get that W finally. Like it seems like the course history is a good narrative here. And don't look now, our boy, Mr. Tony Finau. I mean, he went miscut, and then second place. So maybe it's his time to finally bounce back. But what are some of your takes on what I have to say there?
No Finau for me this week, but with the weather, I've looked at a few different websites. Windfinder has possible wind gusts like in the low 20s with sustained winds and like right around 10 to 15 miles an hour. And the Weather Channel, I was looking at that and a couple other ones. They don't have that much wind in the forecast, so I'm just not really gonna pay attention to that. I think the Weather Channel had sustained winds in like the 8 to 11 mile per hour range, which really isn't much at all. So, I mean, if it pops up and gets us, it does, but I'm just not going to be looking into that. I'm not going to let that decide who I want to play, if that makes any sense or not.
No, that's helpful because I've seen it talked about a lot. And JJ, I've only given you one golfer and I haven't even gotten to my breakdown. So I did what you said, but I'm now even go further and actually break down all the golfers that I like. And I love this mid-tier. And just like I like to do in the outrights, I love living in that like 20 to 1 range and like 30, 40. And I think I might try and do that this week. I'm going to compare kind of notes with some other guys and see like what their thoughts are on that. And like, it does feel like a week where there's a lot of really good, cheap DFS golfers. Like just a quick guys, Matt Wallace being 6.5K just feels crazy. It's like, that's a very good golfer at that range. Like there's just a lot of names that have really good price tags that it's just really interesting to build the more stars and scrubs lineup. And I think it can work, but I really like living in this mid-tier range DFS wise. I know people are on Xander. I don't mind Xander here in this spot, but I'm liking Louis Oosthuizen a lot. I made an outright bet on him at 41 to 1. I think this is a really good spot for him to get the job done. I like going Seamus Power at 8-4. I think we can go back to. You've been on him, Snyder. I'm looking at guys that have good irons. And you know who has good iron play and good history here? Corey Connors. I mean, it's not incredible history, but he's shown the upside. And it seems like Team No Putt gets the job done here too. Corey Connors is on that team. So I think Corey Connors can get the job done. Russell Henley is another guy at 8.2K. Like him more in DFS rather than his number, but he's gotten bet up. I mean, his number was at like 32 to 1 on some books, which just shocked me completely. So I know Uncle T always likes to reference that. He says, this guy's the, 12th, rated guy on the board, but he's DFS wise pricing. He's like 20th. So he definitely is one of those candidates for sure that I'm sure Uncle T likes a little bit. I like him here in this spot. And, Bubba Watson's another guy that like I think could go overlooked at the 9K range. Hasn't really played yet this year. People always get nervous about him, and Bubba's out there at 9K, and his course history is just absolutely incredible. I mean, you could argue he's got some of the best. I mean, T22, T30, T4, T40, and a missed cut. I mean, that's a good one. In that 9K range, you got Brooks that people hate going back to the winner, but Brooks has had good history here. And then Daniel Berger's another one. Great history, but dealing with that back, it might just come with no ownership MME-wise. So I absolutely love this 8 and 9K range. I'm thinking of fading that top end range. It feels scary though, because John Rahm's course history is probably the best of anyone. And he's been incredible. And there's a lot of guys you can grab below. But right now, my current strategy is like slamming in a bunch of these guys in like the 8 and 9K range, like even a Scotty Scheffler. I'm sure you'll talk about him too, Snyder. There's just so many guys. So I'm curious to hear what your approach is, because I like really slamming in a bunch of 8 and 9K guys.
Good news for you, Snyder, is that there ain't many names left. So feel free to let us know who you, now Mangone obviously likes that 8 to 9K range. Are you in a similar thought process, or are you going maybe more true stars and scrubs with going for the higher price guys?
Yeah, I like some of the guys in that range. I'm definitely going to play John Rahm, though, for sure, on probably at least one of my 3 main teams. I'm not sure. I haven't built a team yet. I've been kind of behind here, going through some other stuff, had some other stuff going here with PGA and the Showdown and some NFL stuff as well. But
Snyder, don't worry about that. It's easy to build teams. That's why it's you can build any way you want this week. It's some weeks you can tell like, oh, I don't want to dive in the 6K range, or these 10K golfers aren't worth it. Like, you can build any route this week. So don't worry about that. Just jump into SaberSim and just build your pool and then just go from there, because there's so many ways you can go.
But I think John Rahm's definitely the class of this field. He's a big bet. He's a big favorite in all the betting markets, whether you're looking at matchups or he's the 6-1 favorite in this event. So I'm definitely going to have some Rahm. He's got elite course history here. He's from the area, went to school here at ASU. He had a chance at the Farmers, just couldn't birdie the 18th there, but I think he's going to battle back here. JT's fine. I like playing Rahm and JT both on FanDuel. It's easy to jam those two in. You can get the big upside from both of those guys. You can play like Rahm, JT, dip down to our guy Nick Taylor down there at the values, and you still got room to spend up for another stud even if you want. So the pricing over there is very soft. But on DraftKings, I like Xander. I like Brooks. I'm going to be on Brooks quite a bit this week. I've already taken some heat against him, and I may have a bet on Brooks versus every guy in the 9K range, which I know I'm a dog in that, but sometimes you just got to put them in their place. And the last time I did this with Brooks, I went 69-1. So hopefully we can go.
Is this a shot at Anthony Niehaus? Are we going against Anthony Niehaus here, Snyder?
There may be a slight coming at him again.
He said it so serious that I actually believe that he went 69-1.
Oh, I did.
Yeah, he did.
What was that? I can't remember what the event was. I think it was the first major. Like, Brooks was coming off a couple missed cuts. Big T told me he was the worst play on the board, and I told him he was going to ship. And the only guy that beat him was Phil Mickelson, and he was like in the 6Ks, which that was crazy. But hoping for another big outing here from Brooks. 35-1 is definitely a consideration there. I kind of like Bubba, maybe more so as an outright at 40-1. That price tag's up there, but he's going to come in with really low ownership. He's got great course history here. I'm not sure if I can get to him, but I don't mind Louis there. We just haven't seen Louis, and I don't know when the last time it was when we saw him, but he does typically play well at the start of the season. I was kind of on the fence about Webb Simpson. I'm kind of glad he withdrew, so I don't have to make that call, and I can just shove all my money on the Seamus there right under him. I mean, Seamus has just been very, very good over the last five events. I think he's been top 15 in the last 5 events. He crushes these par 5s. I expect him to just destroy the par 5s here as well. He did let us down last week, but you could kind of see it in the interview. The lady was interviewing him. Oh, you got a 5-shot lead, just pumping him up and everything. And he's like, yeah, but I don't like this course I'm going to the next day. And he actually shot like 5 over there. And then Sunday, the wheels fell off. It still finished 9th. I mean, that's not terrible. Russell Henley, I think Russell Henley is one of the strongest plays in this 8K range. He's actually even money favored against Sam Burns, who's $1,000 more than him. So I definitely like Russell Henley and Seamus Power in this 8K range.
Do you see what's happening here, Mangone? Like, your extremely bad behavior on this show with giving out like 30 names is starting to wear off on poor Snyder. Okay. Snyder is somebody I can rely on to give me like 1 or 2 names, high price, low price. You reel off 30 guys. So now he thinks it's okay for him to reel off the other 30 guys. I mean,
that's here's the this is better, Dunkel. I'm actually making Snyder better, right? When they brought LeBron into the Miami Heat, there was a lot of friction with D Wade and LeBron at first. I'm actually pulling it out of Snyder right now. We are getting the most usage out of him, which is what we need. I'm actually making him a better player.
That's one of the most optimistic views I've ever seen on just a topic like this. I mean, it's also a bit arrogant, Mangone. So, I'd argue it could have afforded a boot, but I'll let it go. I'll let it go this time.
I know I use the LeBron James reference, and it actually fits you really well. You know why? Because you're Eric Spoelstra, right? I mean, at least I didn't make it Ty Lue. At least I could have made you Ty Lue, and that would be really hurtful.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm considered the coach of this golf show, we're yikes. All right, so yeah, appreciate a lot of good info there. I mean, I know I bust balls, but a lot of good info there. So let's slide over to who wins. Snyder, I'll keep it with you, since at this moment you're hot as it relates to the show. Who wins this tournament on your end? Again, if you like to chalk, you like to chalk. Obviously, Rom being 6-1 and minus $130 to T10 in a field like this. I wouldn't consider this field. I mean, granted, I'm no golf guy, but I wouldn't consider this field like heavily loaded. But this field is semi-loaded, and to have him minus 130 in this field to be T10 is just not all that common. So, is this just a tournament that's Roms to lose, or do you like somebody else to win based on their price?
I mean, Rom's like the chalk easy answer there, but I'm going to go with my guy Brooks there. He's 35-1. I got him locked in at 35-1. He's a 2-time winner of this event. He rolls in with all the swag. He's got the new haircut and everything. Says he loves the atmosphere at this course. It's one of his favorite courses to play and one of his favorite majors. He says he almost treats it as a major just because with the increased popularity and how everybody reacts here. So he's definitely coming in more focused this year. He says he actually says his game is more long than it usually is at this point in the year. Last year he had that chip in eagle on 17 to basically shut the door on Xander there, but I'm going to be on Brooks at 35-1.
Love it, Mangone. How about you? Who's your outright? John Rahm?
No, it's not John Rahm. I never do that. I live in this 20 to 30, 40 range.
That's
and
true.
It's Louis.
That's true. It's
Louis Oosthuizen. It's 40-1 Louis Oosthuizen. I'm on him. I think he gets the job done here. I mean, he's had some success here. I'll throw in one more guy that's not in. He's not in that range, I don't think. Where is he? He's a little bit below, but and it's not. I just want to get your take on him because I think he's a really good DFS play, and I think he's kind of going to be. He might not be as low now because Webb is out there in English, but I like Corey Connors a lot. I kind of want to get your take on him because he fits the profile of all these golfers that are talked about that like win these kind of events, right? Like you need a good iron play. You cannot putt here. You need to be able to go low. So like, what's your take on Connors? Because that's a guy like I might target in some like top 20s, top 10s outrights. Kind of want to get your take on him.
Yeah, I think he's fine. I just don't think I'm going to get there this week. He's coming off back-to-back missed cuts, which is kind of rare for him, but he tends to struggle with the par fives at times. Over the last 24 rounds, he's ranking 96th in this field. And on his driving distance, he doesn't hit the ball off the tee as far. Looking at his off the tee, though, he's great off the tee. He ranks 5th in that, 6th in ball striking. But in that proximity range of 150 to 175, he's underperforming there. He's 112th in the field. But I think Connors is fine. I'm just pushing my chips in on Seamus there. Again, I'm going to keep riding him.
See, I might even play like all three. That's why I was like thinking about it. But I like the power idea, and like you've made me more confident in my Louis Oosthuizen bet. So I'll say I love the Louis bet, and I really feel good about him getting the job done here this week.
If you guys remember last year, I was drinking the Louis Kool-Aid. I was liking myself some Louis. I mean, as an outsider looking in,
he crushed last year. I mean, it's unfortunate he really didn't like get it home too much, but man, like if you did bet him, you definitely had opportunities to hedge it for sure. And
T10s and T20s, it felt like every week.
Yeah, he was awesome. So, and I wouldn't be shocked if he picks back up with it. And he's the kind of golfer to be grinding. He's not the one that's going to be out there. He's not out there with the lady like Brooksy is at times, even though he's got the swag and just comes out there and crushes it. But I do think that Louis is still going to be in good form. I'm not too worried about the first time out.
Yeah, I mean, lady or not, I mean, Louis got that fat cock energy. I mean, is it just me? Like, I don't know. The dude just walks around like he's, literally walking around with a 7-iron in there.
Not on Sundays though. Sundays it can get a little rough for him. That's the only concern. Sundays get brutal for our boy Louis. But I feel good about him, and should be a fun sweat.
All right, so Mangone, I'll keep it here with you. A long shot that you think's got good value to potentially take it down.
Yeah, one thing to mention with this course, like I don't really expect like a guy that's like deeper like than like 100 to 1 to get this job done. So even though I know you guys troll me a lot for you got to give the 50 to 1 or less or whatever, like I just don't want to go too deep after that. Like I need to be smart about it. I don't think any of these other guys have the chance. And I'm going to give you exactly 50 to 1, Dunkel. I'm going to toe the line here. I'm sure you can find a little bit better on a book. I'm sure you can get a 55 to 1 somewhere. I'm going to go with Adam Scott. I definitely like myself some Adam Scott, but he's got the upside to win this kind of event. I don't think you want to dive down to like these other guys that are really low. Like Carlos Ortiz has upside, but I don't think he can win this thing. Like I think you need to, if you're going to be building a betting card, I like living in like, if you're going to bet any long shots, they got to be like lower than 100 to 1 for me. And I'm going to go with Adam Scott at 50 to 1. I like him a lot here.
Love it. Love it. I know you've mentioned him before. I don't want to say he's one of your boys, but I know you've that's a name that's been coming out of your mouth. Well, I didn't even mean it like that. Coming out of your mouth or common out of your mouth in a bunch of these shows. So no, I'm back to the wells is good on my end. Snyder, how about you? Long shot you like that's got some value?
I'm going to go with Aaron Wise, 80 to 1. I think he's a guy. He had great form coming into this year, but he did miss the cut at the Farmers, but I'm kind of just willing to write that one off. He was great down the stretch of 2021. It's been great with the irons, great off the tee. So I think he could be one of those guys that could pop one off here. 80 to 1 is a fair price, I think.
Awesome. And as we always say, I mean, make sure you're shopping the right books. I mean, like if you're betting golf outright, it's like you literally cannot be using one book. Like if there's one sport that like you need to have like 5 or 6 options or outs, it's definitely got to be golf.
That was on BetMGM as well.
The pricing differences on some of these outrights between books is just absolutely wild. Like it's not even like an NFL game where you want to chase steam and you play a 7.5 number versus a 7. I mean, these numbers are like some of these numbers are like literally 30 odds, like 30 full cents.
But it's not just that, Dunkel. It's also like top 10s, like T20s. You can find a difference of like plus 290 to like plus like 210. Like it's crazy what you can find there. So you have to shop them around and matchups too. I mean, we that's why we don't always give out the specific matchup. That's why we kind of give you, hey, we like this guy. And like, if you can find it against, like let's say you hear Snyder talk badly about a guy and he really likes, Power. Well, now you take the guy that Snyder didn't like. And if you see him in a matchup against Power, you fire on that. That's definitely a way to go.
Yeah, it makes a ton of sense as well. All right, I guess we'll start over to T20s. I guess we've been doing this kind of snake round robin kind of thing. So Snyder, I'll kick it to you for a T20. Who do you like?
I'm going to just stick with my guy, Seamus Power. I mean, he's treated us really well. He's still plus 155 to T20 here. I think that's pretty solid odds there. I expect him to once again be T15, T20. I think that's a pretty good bet in the top 20s.
Awesome. Now, Mangone, you've mentioned quite a few names on this show, so you have quite a few options for your T20. But based on the pricing and odds, who do you like the most?
Yeah, I do. I've laid the groundwork pretty well. Let's see. Again, got to shop these. Trying to see which one be. We haven't talked about this guy too much, and I think it is a good spot for him. Let's go with Scotty Scheffler at plus 110 for top 20. I like him here in this spot.
Before you do, and not to change your mind, I mean, Louis 120. I think he's got even better odds on FanDuel. You've been talking up Louis most of the show. You know, I like me some Louis, and we know Louis' issue is what, right? It's closing. But the dude, when he's on, I mean, T20 was automatic last year. Do you like him maybe more at 120, or even I think might be even better on FanDuel?
Yeah, I guess we always try to give a little bit of different takes. I still like that one too, no doubt. You can get Louis. Here's actually a really good one. If we talk about, I think he's going to have a high finish, and let's say he doesn't close the deal. You can get Louis at plus 340 versus Scheffler, who's plus 185 for the top 10, which like, that seems pretty good too. The FanDuel top 20 is actually, was that? I may have read it wrong. Let me double check. I think I was reading top 5. No, that was the top 10. And then the top 20 I'm seeing on FanDuel, which again, shopping, this is always good. What did you say you saw, JJ?
120 DK, but I know T20's FanDuel usually has better odds.
Yeah, so you got plus 170 on Louis at on FanDuel, and then you got Scotty Scheffler at plus 120 over there. So again, that's a nice difference. Yeah, I like Louis, but I just want to give someone else a little bit different. So I do think that I like Louis here in this spot. I'll have bets on him, but we'll go with Scheffler here just to give a little bit of a different look.
All right, cool. And Snyder, on your end, T20, who do you like?
T20, I just gave you the Seamus Power one, but
oh Jesus, no, sorry, Snyder. That's the host's fault.
the edibles are kicking in.
Now, Mangone, since we've been doing this snake way of things, the matchups. Anybody specifically you want to target? Obviously, a name that you've brought up most of the show, you can target them. Or is there a matchup that you find that you like? I know DK typically has the best options, but what do you like in terms of matchups, or a guy that, regardless of the matchup, that you like in the brackets they're going to put him in?
Yeah, I'm pulling him up now on DK because it's always DK is better there. I've had the FanDuel book up on my computer, but on FanDuel, let's see. I don't mind that one. Just looking around a little bit more just to make sure. I know Gooch is someone that I don't want to fade against Gooch. This is one that you would like, Snyder. You get Brooks against Tony Finau. I'm curious if that's one that you're on. That's on the FanDuel book, but I'll go with where was it? I like Corey Connors, but man, I like Bubba a lot here in this spot. Like Bubba at -126, I don't hate here. So maybe he's better for the upside bets, but I think Bubba's not bad at -126 against Corey Connors. Snyder has me a little more nervous. I have noticed a trend when there's a guy I kind of like, and like Snyder hasn't given me the confidence. Sometimes I need to just move off. So I think you've talked me into not being as excited about Corey Connors, and I like Bubba a lot here. So let's go with Bubba at the -126 over Corey Connors.
Okay. And then Snyder, in terms of matchups, who do you like? Do you like that Brooksy matchup that Mangone brought up?
I was actually going to target this guy, Corey Connors, with another guy. I got Russell Henley here at FanDuel, -126 versus Corey Connors. And his odds are way better in the outrights. And what's Russell Henley's at 30-1 outrights, and Connors is 50-1. And it's only -126 head-to-head. So I think there's quite a bit of value there in that head-to-head matchup.
Snyder, sometimes you just got to yield, right? I've noticed when I talk with you and there's a guy I like, and sometimes like you don't mind the guy, but you're not as much on him. And I've noticed it hasn't worked out as well for me. So I'm just I think Tringale was one last week you didn't like a lot, and I loved. And it did not work out well. But in my defense, I think Cameron was, I think he was hurt. Did you see him bend down for the golf ball, Snyder?
No, I didn't really watch that too much.
He didn't bend down like an alpha. He bent down like a beta. He did a squat and picked up the ball. So I think his back was hurt, but who knows?
That'll happen.
Okay, awesome. So I guess it'll be final notes. Snyder, I'll start with you. I know you said you love this event. It's one of your more favorite ones of the season, I guess, relatively speaking, against the rest. Any final notes on the course? I know you've brought up a lot of different valuable information all around, but final notes you have on it?
This is going to be a great event. I'll just throw out like a couple of first-round leaders too, just for the heck of it here at the end. We got Seamus Power here at 40-1 first-round leader. What do I have in my notes? Power has shot 65 or lower in 4 of his last 5 first rounds. So if he can shoot 65 here, he'll have a really good chance to be the first-round leader. And another guy, Wyndham Clark at 100-1. He's had 5 straight rounds of sub-70 in his first round. He's 100-1 odds to lead the first round. So I think those two are interesting to throw, maybe 10 or 20 bucks on for the fun of it. But yeah, looking forward to everything that comes with this event. Hopefully my Brooks tickets get home. Hopefully me and Mangone and you and whoever else is playing, all the Run Pure community can have a really great week this week, and everybody can be stacking those giblets as we head into the Super Bowl late Sunday.
Love it. You see, Mangone, Snyder brings good content, good information, and optimism. Okay. Mangone, how about your final notes?
Yeah. So you know what I do? You do that, but you know what? You're the coach that just gives you pat him on the back, you clap, you're doing the Jason Garrett. I am pulling the most out of Snyder. Snyder, what's the better way to go? Spend up at the top for a golfer? You kind of hedge. You said, I'm doing 1 of 3 John Rahm. Are you spending up at the top, or are you going more balanced? What's the move here, Snyder? I'm pulling the most out of you here. What are we doing?
Let me pull up my core. I'll just give you I'll give my core to all the people here watching. My core right now is Brooks Koepka, Seamus Power, and Nick Taylor. And this is going to leave you with $8,400 remaining. So I mean, you can pretty much do whatever you want with that. I mean, you could even go up to the 10K range again if you wanted to dip down into like. There's a lot of guys in that 6K range. I think with the expanded field, like 50% or more making the cut, I think we could dip down to that 6K range a little bit more, maybe to like a guy like Peter Malnati, 6.1K. If you play him, you can still play John Rahm in that build. Yeah, I'm just kind of not. I haven't really built a team yet. I just got my core up and everything, so I'm probably gonna be on John Rahm. I'm not sure if I'm going to play Justin Thomas on DraftKings or not, but I'm going to play both Rahm and JT on FanDuel for sure together.
I'm sold. Snyder is definitely doing the Brooks Koepka. Maybe I don't think you're going to play as much Rahm. I think you're going to look at all those 9 and 8K guys, and you got your boy Seamus already in there. I think you're going to get sold on that, but I'm curious to see how that shakes out. And yeah, it should be a fun event. I'm really excited for it.
Yeah, awesome. So Snyder, Mangone, thanks as always for popping in and going through a bunch of different things relative to this tournament. This week, of course, is the Super Bowl, or this weekend. So as always, folks, be sure to extra gamble responsibly. It is only one football game. But yes, fun tournament here expected. More college basketball content from me throughout the week. Expect an NFL video from me tomorrow, and then the Print Factory with the DFS crew tomorrow as well. And then again, more college basketball all weekend. Be sure to check out Spread Tyler's NBA content daily. It's some of the best you'll find. And of course, Keger's live shows, which continue to smash. Man, going real quick, want to let the folks know about what's going on at Run Pure Sports this weekend?
Yeah, I can go the Super Bowl rundown. So let me pull that schedule up because everyone loves the schedule here at Run Pure Sports. Where is it? Right here. Schedule on the Discord chat. We had a Tuesday first look show, 2 p.m. It was me, Title, and Hoop. We broke that all down, and all these shows for the most part will be during the day. Picking winners was today with me, Keg, and Holden. We broke down the game. Snyder's breakdown of how the game is going to go. I'm sure I'll give some betting takes. I'm sure I'll give DFS takes as well. Be sure to check that out. It'll be out tonight, tomorrow. And then we got tomorrow is the Print Factory like you talked about. Then we got the Showdown Playbook will be up with Rubio. And then we got the Morning Wood is going to be on Friday, and not in the morning. It'll be at 3 p.m. on the premium side, Big T, Hoop, and Holden, along with Tambo's Plan of Attack and K. Fallick's 3-Max Strategy. And on Saturday, check out Off the Chalk with AP, DC, Tambo, and JT. That's at 8 p.m. And then the core plays from the whole team. That'll be out, and who knows, maybe Dunkel will slide on in and grab some cores as well because he makes some appearances here and there on the DFS side.
I just do what's asked of me, Travis. I just do what's asked of me. But yeah, thanks for going that rundown. And as always, folks, again, gamble responsibly, stay safe, and yes, run pure. We'll catch you guys next week.